We are back and we are going to discuss every skill move in UFL and the best skill moves to utilize in game. But first, I wanted to go over why certain skill moves aren't working for you if you've tried them in game, and it is because in UFL you have to boost that skill move to get certain advanced versions of the move, right? What we don't know and what the game has to do a better job of, and hopefully they'll add, is which level boost is tied to which advanced skill move, right? There's low, medium, high, and ultra effect in the boost, and it just doesn't explain which level you would need to get to then be able to do the skill move in game. Hopefully they add that, and from there you can determine if it's worth it. I can tell you certain base versions are just fine. However, there are other skill moves where it wouldn't be a bad idea to use your skill point boost on that skill move to get the advanced version just because it's a better animation in game. Maybe there's more of a speed boost, a better exit from the skill move. We just need more information on which level boost ties to which skill move. So the first move we're going to discuss is the fake shot and the fake shot stop. Fake shot simply O then X. Fake shot stop, you hold R1, O then X, right? For a fake shot right now, you want to use that on a first time basis receiving any pass, right? As the pass is coming to your player, press the fake shot. As he receives the ball, the animation is so OP that it just creates fluidity between whatever you will do next, right? It's a smooth transition into dribbling, into passing, into shooting. You want to use it all over the pitch. Hopefully they patch it because it's unrealistic. Players just aren't fake shot receiving every single ball anywhere on the pitch. But for now, when you receive the ball, utilize a fake shot. You can also utilize it in and around goal, just like the fake shot stop. But I just wanted to point out how OP it is on a first-time basis to receive any pass. Now, the fake shot stop is more isolated to in and around goal, but it can be very effective. You can utilize a fake shot stop to create space between you and a defender, to switch directions on the defender and dribble around them, or to prevent a potential block shot, right? You're dribbling, you fake shot, stop, the defender either keeps running by you or stops with you to block the shot, and then you can move past them and shoot the ball, right? There's a lot of different varieties that you can do based on how the defender reacts, but you just have to practice it. I would urge you for this and all skill moves, go into an AI match and practice the skill move and see when and where to use it, and that will help you with the timing of the skill move as well as the most effective places to use the skill move. And for the next move, we're discussing the ball roll. You simply roll your right analog stick left to do a ball roll left. You roll your right analog stick right to do a ball roll right. Can be effective in a variety of places on the field. You can do it on the dribble to create a dribbling lane past the defender, right? You can do it to create a better passing lane and prevent an interception, right? Ball roll pass, prevent interception. If you came from EAFC, you know about this. But again, very simple but effective skill move. And the next one in the game is simply known as advancing, but you double tap R1, and what it is basically a speed boost, right? You just have to get the timing down, and if you do, this will be an OP skill move. So as you are dribbling, to use this most effectively, right? As you are dribbling, you're approaching the defender, you double tap R1, make sure the direction you're dribbling is, as you double tap R1 that is in the direction you want the ball to be pushed to. Your player, as you double tap R1, will then push the ball ahead and speed boost and run up to catch the ball, right? Particularly, this is effective in and around goal to blow past a defender and then create a shooting opportunity, but you can use it anywhere on the field just to beat the defender, right? Then you're on to bigger and better things. So, like I said earlier, I urge you to go into an AI match and work on the timing. If you don't get the timing right, it won't work. The defender will steal the ball. Sayonara. If you get the timing down, this will be among the most OP skill moves you can use, right? You're dribbling, double tap R1, facing direction you want to push the ball into. As you're double tapping R1, your player pushes the ball past the defender, then runs past the defender himself, and you're either in on goal or at the very least blown past that defender. Practice it, get the timing down, use it. Next, we're talking about the heel flick, which there's actually 3 variations of this, right? The heel flick and the heel-to-heel flick both have the same buttons, which is simply flick your right analog stick up and then back to do both the heel flick and the heel to heel flick. Essentially, they have the same effectiveness, right? The third version, you hold L1 while doing the right analog stick flick of forward and backwards, right? So essentially just holding L1 while doing the same thing as the heel flick and the heel to heel flick. All three essentially have this same effectiveness, which is all about timing, just like the advancing skill move, right? If you time it right, as the defender's approaching you and about to make a tackle, you do one of these three variations, the heel flick, heel to heel flick, or heel to ball roll, and the animation will cause you to get right past the defender. I can't tell you how many times I've gone in, committed to a tackle, thought for sure I had it won, and the opponent timed a perfect one of these three skill move variations and just blew right by me and on goal, right? So very effective, but you have to get the timing down. Once again, AI match. Go in there, work on these skill moves, maybe a certain variation you like better, right? Work on the timing, when to use it, and it can become an OP skill move for you, possibly creating a scoring chance that otherwise would have been the defender making a tackle on you, right? Work on the timing, utilize whichever version that you see fit. You might have to spend some skill points to boost up to get a certain one of these variations if you like one better. In my humble opinion, all three have the same effect. The base version should be just fine for this. This next move has two variations as well. And the first one is called the forward and turn. You simply flick your right analog stick back 2 times, and your player will basically, without touching the ball, do a sharp turn backwards, right? This can be useful when defenders right alongside of you, potentially about to win the ball, make a tackle. You flick the right analog stick back twice, and your player will turn, and you will be going directly in the opposite direction, turning backwards from where you were going. It can absolutely help you get out of pressure, get into a different direction, whatever you want to do. Now, the more advanced version of this, you hold R1 and then flick your right analog stick back twice, and this is called a light feint. It basically just adds an animation where you roll the ball backwards with the bottom of your cleats as opposed to just without touching the ball doing a sharp turn backwards. You add this roll of the ball, right, and essentially turn away from the defender. In my opinion, the base version is just fine, maybe even more effective just because it's more sudden. The defender has less time to react than the animation with the light feint, which is a more advanced version, but a little less fluid in my opinion. So, especially if you need a boost point for this particular move, to each their own, but to me, I would just stick with the regular old flick the right analog stick back twice, as opposed to going with the R1 version of it. Next, we were talking about the roulette. Very simple to pull off. You just simply start your right analog stick at the 6 o'clock direction. Now, to do the roulette left, where you spin to the left side, you're at the 6 o'clock angle with your right analog stick, and then you roll clockwise to 12 o'clock. You'll do the roulette left. To do the roulette right, where you spin to the right side, once again, start your right analog stick at the 6 o'clock direction and then roll counterclockwise to 12 o'clock, right? Very effective move as long as, like many other moves, you get the timing down. If you do so, you can blow past defenders using this skill move in a variety of different areas on the pitch, and it can be very useful in getting in on goal, and it's quite fancy looking as well. Next, we are talking about the fake right and go left and the fake left and go right, and how I think that's tied to the Elastico and reverse Elastico. So, for the simplified version first, you start your right analog stick at the 3 o'clock direction and roll clockwise to 6 o'clock to fake right and go left. Now, to fake left and go right, you start your right analog stick at the 9 o'clock direction and roll counterclockwise to 6 o'clock, and you will fake left and go right. To simplify that even more, if you want to go left, you start your right analog stick on the opposite side, on the right side at 3 o'clock, roll clockwise to 6. If you want to go right, you start your right analog stick on the opposite side, on the left, at the 9 o'clock direction and roll counterclockwise to 6 o'clock, and you will fake left and go right. Both can be effective. Once again, it's just all about timing. It can be useful when a defender's coming head on and you want to slip past them. It can be effective when a defender's coming at you from an angle, and if you get the timing right, you do the move, and you can slip right by his attempted tackle. It's all about timing. It's all about practicing this move and figuring out when and where to use it. Now, how I think it's tied to the Elastico and the reverse Elastico is because the Elastico is essentially a continuation of the fake right and go left. The reverse Elastico is essentially a continuation of the fake left and go right. Why is that? Because to do the Elastico, you simply start your right analog stick at the 3 o'clock angle, right? And then roll clockwise to 9 o'clock. To do the reverse Elastico, you start your right analog stick at the 9 o'clock direction and roll all the way counterclockwise to 3 o'clock. See how it's just a continuation of the previous fake left and go right and fake right and go left? Why I'm having to assume is because the game didn't do a very good job of explaining it. All they would need to do is go into that skill page under the player info and then just explain at which level of a boost do which moves become the advanced version of that move. That way you know what it takes to unlock each move, which moves associated with which level boost. But right now it's just an assumption. As soon as I get more information on that, I will let you know, because I do think the Elastico and reverse Elastico would be moves that are worth unlocking. I believe they could be very effective. I have no idea if they're as effective as FC or not. If they are, they would be worth unlocking. I just haven't been able to test them out because I haven't found any players with the availability to do these. I'm not saying there aren't players out there, just none of mine have had the ability to do it. So a better explanation of that would be great. But for now, my assumption is just some kind of boost would be needed to do both the Elastico and reverse Elastico. Just got to figure out which move and at what cost to boost up to unlock these. Moving on to the next move, which is a three-parter as far as advancements go. You have the stop and turn, left and right. The turn and spin, left and right. And the 360-degree turn, left and right. The first two variations, same buttons. Flick your analog stick up and then left to do the left version. Flick your analog stick up and right to do the right version. The 360-degree turn, you simply add holding R1, then flick your right analog stick up and then left to do the left 360-degree turn. Flick your analog stick holding R1 at the same time, up and then right to do the right 360-degree spin. I would say the best way to summarize would be each advancement, the spin is a little bit quicker, right? Every player can do the base version, and I will tell you that all of these have essentially the same spots on the field that you want to do the move and the same outcome as far as when and where to utilize it, right? Again, as with any other moves, you want to go practice this versus AI. I can tell you, though, that the effectiveness for me is really important in and around goal, right? This move many times can help me shake a defender and create an opening to shoot the ball. You can use it away from goal as well, absolutely. It just comes down to what you feel most comfortable with, right? But practicing the different directions and when and where to utilize it, rather than me sitting here and try to explain it, I feel like that could get complicated. The best way to do it is just go into an AI match, and then from there, you can see if it's worth advancing this move or not. Maybe the base version, the speed in which the player stops and turns, or turns and spins, or through whatever they're called, the quickness of the base version might be fine. Maybe you just need the second level. Maybe you want the 360 degrees, and that boost in the spin and the speed of the spin will help you out. But go practice it in AI. It can absolutely be a useful skill move in game to create space away from a defender to either shoot or even dribbling and passing if you use it away from goal. So, on to the next one, which is a no advancement move, right? It's a base level move. Any player can do it, and it is called the roll and go. So, very simple to do, a little more complicated to explain, but we will start with how to do it. you simply tap your right analog stick twice to the left to the 9 o'clock direction to do the roll and go left. To do the roll and go right, you simply tap your right analog stick twice to the right to the 3 o'clock direction, and you will do the roll and go right. So, best way to explain it in the most simplified way, the roll and go left will actually start off with a ball roll with your right foot to the left side direction, okay? So, the ball roll to the right, with your right foot to the left side direction, then ball roll it with your left foot more in a straight direction. So, roll and go left, you're going to want to do if the defender is on the right side of your player. You'll then ball roll with your right foot away from that defender towards the left, and then with your left foot straight, and you can continue dribbling or shoot from there. To do the roll and go right, okay, you'll want the defender to be on your left side. Then you will roll the ball first with your left foot into the right side away from that defender that's on the left, right? And then you will roll the ball forward with your right foot and you can shoot and pass from there. I am well aware that that explanation is super confusing with all the lefts, right, but once you do it in game and then you can kind of rewatch this as you're watching the animation if you haven't already, it will make sense to you. So you can do this move all over the pitch. It's really good, as you can see they're showing here in front of goal to blow by a defender, particularly if a defender, just like the heel flick or heel to heel, when a defender is committing to tackle you, if you time it right and work on the timing and get it right, you will blow by the defender as he's trying to tackle you. The animation will work. Boom, blow by the defender. You can get an open scoring chance from it. That's the most effective place. There's other areas you can utilize it on the field, but go practice it. Figure out where this move works best for you. It can be effective if you get the timing down. Next, we have two variations of a move that you will need a boost to do the second variation for. And I know that because it is the same buttons to do both moves. So the base variation is called the drag back. The more advanced variation is called the cutback. To do the drag back or cutback left, you simply flick your right analog stick backwards and then flick it to the left. To do the drag back right or cut back right, you simply flick your right analog stick back and then flick it right. Now, for those of you who haven't done this move in game, it is like pulling a V. If you play real life soccer, you know what I'm talking about. If not, for everybody else, imagine the letter V, the shape of the letter, right? So for the drag back, you pull the ball back with the bottom of your cleat and then push it with that same foot, either left or right, in the shape of a V. For the cutback, left and right, you simply pull the ball back, do a hop step, and then push it with your opposite foot in the shape of a letter V towards the left or towards the right. So it is the same exact outcome, just with the more advanced version. I'd say it has more flair behind it, right? Not a move that I use too often, but it could be useful when you have an on-rushing defender and you want to get the ball out of the way of him making a tackle. It could be good for changing direction and, pointing to an area where you want to pass or cross. Something that you'd have to practice and figure out when and where to use on the field, but it absolutely could be useful. Not as much for burning a defender and getting in on a scoring opportunity, but just for creating space between you and a defender and creating a better angle for you to work in, whether you want to then dribble or pass. So moving on. The rainbow, which does have a second variation. Now, the twist here is that I've done both of these variations. So maybe this one doesn't need a boost. Maybe all players can do both of these moves. I'm not positive. I can just tell you, unlike the Elastico and reverse Elastico that I could not do with pretty much any player, I have done both of these. So take that how you may. I could be wrong. You might still need a boost, or maybe the player I did the second variation for happened to have the boost. I'm not sure. But everyone knows the rainbow. To do it, you simply flick your right analog stick backwards once and then forwards twice. It's a very spammy move. However, I will warn you, do not spam it because it's very easy to stop once it becomes predictable. You simply would time it right and then the defender will intercept it every time. But if you use it sparingly, you can absolutely catch a defender by surprise and blow by him on various parts of the field. It absolutely could be used to get you in on goal. You would just have to do it sparingly. Like I said, catch the defender by surprise. Now, the catch here is that, in my opinion, this version is more useful and there's more of an explosion, right? The ball goes higher, so less of a chance to get intercepted, and it's a bit trickier than this second version, which is the same buttons, you just hold R1, right? So you would hold R1, then you would flick your right analog stick backwards once, forwards twice. Now, if you hold R1 and do this, you will get a magic lift instead of the rainbow. Never heard of this move before? You can watch the animation. UFL says this is the magic lift. Pretty cool looking, like I said, but you can see where the rainbow would be more effective, right? So, not something I would utilize. I did just wanted to see what it was all about and practice it in game, and I was able to do it. Like I said, you would think this version would need to be boosted to be able to do. Maybe my player had the boosted version of it. I just didn't realize it. So, whichever way, you can look for yourself, but that's how you do the rainbow, and that is how you do the magic lift. Next, we have what they call the lane change, left and right. It is also known as the roulette. I believe in game, like in the skill boost, they call it roulette themselves too. But if you played FC or FIFA before, you already know how to do this move. I'll still explain it. The lane change, as it says here, to the left, you simply hold L1, and then you hold the analog stick to the left. To do the lane change right or roulette to the right, you simply hold L1 and then hold your right analog stick to the right. Notice this is not a flick. If you don't know about this move, it is a hold. So you're holding not only L1, but you're holding the analog stick in the direction you want to do the move, right? So if you hold it to the left, your player will, as you can see there, do that little shuffle known as the roulette, and you will shuffle around the defender to the left. If you go to the right, you'll shuffle around the defender to the right. It can be useful in game. Absolutely. Is a great lane changing move. Is a great way to avoid being tackled. You can get on through on goal with it. I do have a player with the ultra effect of this move. Camavinga actually has the ultra effect. He does it pretty swiftly, but no differently than my other players. Honestly, I didn't notice it that went, as far as the ultra effect. I figured with an ultra effect of a move, it might mean he does it extremely fast, right? Didn't really notice it. Still can be a useful move for any player that uses it, but just a little side note there. I have a player that had an ultra effect I noticed, Camavinga, and it wasn't much of a difference that I noticed. But that was just me. Just want to throw that in there. However, that is how you do the roulette / lane change, both right and left. And next we have the Sombrero flick, which is very easy to pull off. You simply flick the right analog stick forward twice and backwards once. And what the player will do is scoop the ball over his head, turn in the complete opposite direction, and continue dribbling. Now, just like the rainbow, you would want to use this sparingly, but if you do use it sparingly, it could be effective from time to time. If you spam it, it will start to be predictable. The defender will easily stop you. One thing I wanted to point out that's interesting and makes the Sombrero flick a little bit harder to steal, even if the defender kind of anticipates it or gets in the right positioning as he sees you doing the move, is, as if you notice, the player flicks the ball just over his shoulder, right? This is all part of the animation. And look where he continues the dribble, right? Out of the air. So that's still part of the animation, which makes it harder to steal for a defender than if the ball hits the ground as it does with the rainbow. So just something to note. Could be a very effective move in front of goal, right? Especially if you're catching the defender off guard, to flick it over, say, a center back and get in on goal. Could be effective on the side of goal to flick it over to the defender and then make a run towards goal. And pretty much it could be useful in various areas of the pitch, but I just wanted to point out some spaces where you could utilize it and it could work if you get the timing right and if you use it sparingly and you aren't predictable. Next, we have the lateral heel to heel, both to the left and to the right. Basically, to do this move, you hold L1 and you will flick your right analog stick first right and then left to do the lateral heel to heel left. to do the right-sided lateral heel to heel, you'll hold L1, flick your right analog stick left then right. In summary, your right analog stick is going to end up in the direction that you want to do the lateral heel to heel towards. You can see in the animation, you basically tap the ball with one foot going essentially away from the direction you're eventually going to go. Then you tap it with the other foot through the back of your opposite leg and into the direction that you want to go. Who knows if that explanation was very good, but you see the animation there. You get how it works. Many of you have used this move. The bottom line is you can use it in a variety of places on the field. You just have to practice and see where it works best for you. I can tell you for this one as an example, I use it a lot with my wingers. Either when I'm driving towards the end line, maybe for a cross, and then I fake out the defender, do the lateral heel to heel, and now I'm going it in an angle to finesse shot. Or the opposite. I'm going at an angle to finesse shot. The defender has me where he might make a tackle or block the shot. I do the lateral heel to heel towards the end line, and then I drive in for a cross. That's just where I use it. You can go into games and see where it works best for you. Very simple move. It's one of those things where to actually pull it off, it's easier than the explanation, I think. So let's move on to the last move. And that move is the knee rocket, which is very unique and fitting to be the last one. You simply hold R1 and flick the right analog stick upwards twice. The ball will be flicked up and then pushed forward with your knee. Very unique, like I said. You can decide if it's a move that you can implement or not into the game. I've used it a few times, more in a joking manner, but I could definitely see where it could be useful if you got the timing down, as with most all of these moves. Now, we have went through every single move in UFL. I hope that you gained some knowledge from this, got a better idea of which moves you want to implement into your play. With that said, if you do implement moves, let me know which ones work for you and how effective they are. Let me know if you decided to use skill points to boost any of these moves to get to more advanced variations. I know for me, I want to go after the Elastico and reverse Elastico. Once I do, I will make a video on that. I feel like those can be the most effective moves in the game for sure. Maybe not, though. Probably kind of tying that into how they worked in EAFC. Maybe it's the same, maybe it's not. That's to be determined. But until then, keep grinding, keep working on your game, enjoy it while you're doing it, and good luck. Have a good one.